Hi, and welcome to Running on Carbs Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Val, as always, with the Running on Carbs Podcast. And I want to welcome you to episode number 23 of the podcast today. Today, we are talking about ditching the gym. So if you have been a gym goer, I'm here to give you ways that you can ditch your gym membership, save the money, save the drive, and put together your own at-home workout space using just a few pieces of fundamental equipment that I find very important for any runner out there. Or if you have not been going to the gym and you don't have a gym membership, then save your pennies and invest in these few pieces of equipment that don't take up a lot of space and don't cost a lot of money. So, whether money is a, issue or not an issue, it doesn't really matter. Why spend it and waste it if you don't have to? So today we're going to talk about 10 items that you can use in your own at-home workout space. I don't really call it a gym because there's no like big, heavy gym equipment. There's no machines. So it's not that kind of home gym. It's a home gym you can fit in a closet or a cupboard most of the time. So a few years ago, home workouts really took off. As you know, we were all going through the same thing a few years ago. We're in 2024 right now. I'll let you do the math. But we were all cooped up in our houses and gyms were closed for a lot of people. Across the country. I know here in Southern California, rules were really strict, and it was quite an experience to see what was going on in the health industry in 2020. So since then, gyms have opened up again, and a lot of people went and returned to the gym, but a lot of people didn't. And for me, honestly, during that time, it really didn't faze me because I haven't had a gym membership in probably about 10 years. And even when I did have a gym membership, the only thing I really wanted it for or used it for was to run on the treadmill. So didn't really do me a lot of good. I had a pair of weights at home that I could use if that's what I really wanted to do. But the one thing I couldn't do was run on a treadmill at the time because I didn't have one. I didn't have space for one during that time. Once I was able to go out and buy a treadmill, which is right behind me if you're watching me on YouTube, then I really had no use for the gym whatsoever at that point. So I have been an avid at-home exerciser, fitness enthusiast since the 90s. So, hey, we're all, women of the same age here, right? So we could talk about that. So I was definitely a woman of the 90s with all my at-home VHS tapes. Okay, I'm really aging myself here. And my VCR, we had to sit there and put it in the rewind machine. Remember those? You had a little machine that would rewind it super duper fast for you. Okay, I can go off on a tangent there with the whole Blockbuster video thing. If you didn't return it rewound, they charge you. Anyway, memories. But anyway, back to at-home exercising. So Kathy Smith days, do you remember those? So Kathy Smith workouts on VHS and then on DVD later. Those were my big ones. Denise Austin. Denise Austin is the one that introduced me to yoga. I had no idea what yoga was until I found a Denise Austin workout for yoga. And I'm like, well, this is just stretching. So little did I know. But honestly, that's kind of what that workout video was. It was really just stretching, but it was called yoga. Then in the 2000s, I upgraded to the firm workouts. So the firm were like all the rage during that time. And so I actually still have a whole drawer full of the firm workouts. And every once in a while, just for fun, I pull one out and do it and see how it is. But they're more fun than anything now. But you know what? Some of those workouts are pretty darn good when it comes to cardio. So if you have some, pull one out every once in a while and, have fun and do a little dance because really they're kind of dancey. Um, so I just realized my microphone is really far away. I have no idea how that sound is. So, okay, so hopefully the sound is better now. Um, So over the years, then I progressed to Beachbody workouts and I got the Beachbody online. And that's when I was introduced to P90X and all of the P90X programs. I've mentioned before, X2 is still my hands down favorite of those, mostly because of the functionality or the functional fitness aspect of those workouts and how they really focus on core strength. And then also insanity. So I don't know, looking back, I'm like, how in the world did I do insanity? I think I would probably fall on the floor dying at this point if I tried to do an insanity workout. I don't think my cardio is up to that. Even with all the running that I do, insanity is like a whole other level. But one day, now that I say it out loud, I may have to try it and I'll just blog about it. So look on Instagram or something for that. Um, but recently, I started incorporating one of the workouts that I found on Beachbody several years ago called PiYo. And it's Shalene Johnson, who is the fitness instructor there, her program. And it is a mixture of Pilates and yoga. Um, and they're really more Pilates yoga inspired moves, I would say. They're not, your traditional movements. But again, that one has a lot of body weight, flexibility, mobility, and strength all incorporated together. And so I've been wanting to incorporate more of all three of those modalities into my workouts lately. So on my strength days, sometimes I just pull out one of the PiYo workouts if I don't have a lot of time after a run, and I'll just do that after my run instead of weights. Or if I'm not having kind of a tired day, I don't really have a lot of strength that day. Maybe I didn't get great sleep, and so I don't really want to lift heavy weights. Then I'll do a mobility, flexibility workout instead, maybe with one of her programs. So, anyway, that's a really great program. But whether you like DVD programs or not, um, I've got the 10 pieces of equipment that I think that every at-home workout space should have if you are a serious recreational runner. And especially if you are a woman recreational runner who needs to incorporate strength. Many of these items can fit all together in a cupboard, or I have a small like TV stand cupboard where I keep most of this stuff, not everything. You'll hear some of these things are a little bigger. But if you have a closet, you just kind of tuck it away in a part of the closet. Um, but they're not big items usually, and there's not a lot of them. And again, most of this equipment, you can buy pretty much all of it for probably less than you'd pay at 6 months of a gym membership at most gyms. And I'm not talking about like the bottom of the barrel gym. I'm talking about like your regular standard gym with all of your services and equipment there. You'd probably pay far less actually than what you would pay at one of those gyms for 6 months. And you'll probably use it more if it's at your house rather than having to drive to the gym. I don't know about you, but I mean, I have to get up super early in the morning to do my workouts. And if I had to then get up that early and go somewhere to work out and then come home and then get ready for the rest of my day, number one, I wouldn't get enough sleep because I would have to get up far too early. Number two, the gym probably wouldn't even be open unless you're going to like a 24-hour place. Um, and I don't know, I'm worried about safety also at that hour of the day. There's just a number of reasons that I can think that I would not want to do that, not based on my type of schedule. Um, Obviously, everybody has their thing, but you're listening to this podcast for a reason. And so you want to know how do I ditch the gym? And so that's what we're going to get into. Let's talk about how to ditch the gym. All right, here are 10 of my favorite pieces of equipment that I think every female runner should have. And not female runners as well, but definitely a female runner. Okay, number one, a set of resistance loop bands. And these come in packages that have different tensions. So some are extra light, light, medium, heavy, extra heavy. And that all talks about the resistance of the band. And if you are on YouTube, you can see I've got an exercise loop band here that I'm demonstrating and showing. And you can do all sorts of exercises with these. So, you want to do some back exercises, some, lat exercises, all sorts of things. But these are great for arm workouts and also adding resistance for things like banded squats. So if you find that your outer hips need some extra strengthening, one way to do that is to do things like clamshells using a band around the knee area, just above the knee area. Banded squats help to give you something to focus on to help you keep your knees in a correct position rather than collapsing in. So if you have some weaknesses or compensations, then this helps bring the mind-body connection to the right part of the body. And so even if you're not looking for actual resistance for strengthening, it can definitely connect you to that mind-body connection to the area that you're working by adding resistance to it. So these are terrific for lots of different exercises. You'll find that you use them to death. All right, number 2, set of weights. And so you don't need a lot of weights. You don't need a big, hand weight dumbbell rack. Really, you can get away with maybe 3 to 4 pairs of dumbbells in different weights. So what I would recommend is to buy these weights relative to your current strength, but also thinking you're going to gain strength somewhat quickly. So you may find that you outgrow your lightest set of weights pretty quickly. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, you need to have a light set of weights that you can use now, or it's going to sort of defeat the purpose if you can't even lift what you've got first. So start with something light. If you are a brand new out the gate exerciser and you're new to running even, start lighter. You can always build up. So you can, sell your lighter weights that you no longer use if you want on Marketplace or something and trade up. Or just keep them and add to your weights if you have the space. That's what I do. But I'd say some common weight sizes would be to start out, if you're not already, an avid weightlifter, a 5-pound, 10-pound, 15-pound set of weights is a great starter place. So the light weights, like the 5-pounders, can be used for higher repetitions. They could be used for like shoulder raises, things like that, where you're going to do high rep, low weight. And some of those more ancillary type exercises for smaller muscles. And then the 10 pounds, you might even want an 8-pound if you are really, really beginning. But I think a 10-pound is probably a good place to go to for your medium size weight. And then these could be things like your your bicep curls, overhead press, things of that nature, when you're still a beginner at strength training with weights. And then your 15-pounders, those are going to be used for things like your squats. So weighted squats, weighted sumo squats, basically your lower body. exercises, and then also your chest exercises, like a chest press. You might use the 15 pounders for those. So it's a good starter set. You may want to add on to that somewhat quickly, but go with your fitness level. That's the key thing. All right, the number 3 item is just one heavy kettlebell. So again, we're starting out, so you don't need a lot of kettlebells. If you can do one good size heavy kettlebell, so heavier than your weight set, your hand weights, because this is going to be for lots of things. So, for example, holding it when you do a squat, so like a goblet squat. So you're going to want a heavy weight that you can hold and add to that lower body resistance. You're going to use it for deadlifts, sometimes single leg deadlifts as well. Because of the way that the weight is distributed in a kettlebell, you can go heavier with it for things like that deadlift. Two-handed swings. So, and I say two-handed because there are one-handed kettlebell swings. This might be a little heavy for that, especially when you're first starting out. So I'm thinking, this is a great glute workout or even a warm-up exercise, using it for kettlebell swings where you're holding the kettlebell with both hands. Also great for single side carries, like they call it a suitcase carry, and that's great for core stability. So you want a heavy weight for something like that because the idea is to keep yourself from leaning and tipping over toward the kettlebell. So you want to stay straight and do a carry with one kettlebell on one side. So good for that. So one heavy kettlebell. Again, based on your strength, I don't know, maybe 25, 35 pounds, something like that, depending on your fitness level. I think my heavy one is I think it's in kilograms, but I think it's something like 31 or 31 and a half pounds. And that seems to work. I think I can go heavier than that. But right now it's suitable for what I'm doing. So kind of gauge your fitness level and see where you are. Okay, number 4, go moving right along. A set of power bands with a door anchor. So the door anchor you might have to buy separate, but I think it's like $6. So I think you can handle it. But power bands, and I'm going to show you this one too because I have a power band. Power bands are really heavy duty. So this one I've got here, if you're on YouTube, I'm showing it. I'll show you the brand. So this one this one's a heavy band. It's not the heaviest band that they have, but this thing is really strong. And these can be used for resistance body weight exercises. Now, this is going to give you your muscles more of a workout compared to your, little loop band. Loop band is really for mind-body connection and a little resistance. This is going to build some strength. These are super duper strong. And if you double them up, they're even heavier. So the very, very heavyweight rubber, and it's maybe 1.5 inches or so wide band for the heavy one, but they come in different resistance sizes. So again, they come oftentimes in a package. So you get a light, extra light, medium, heavy, extra heavy strength band. And you can do all sorts of things with these. So it's a massive loop. So you can see here, it's just a big, huge loop. And what you can do are things like squats. So if you hook these over your shoulders and stand on the band with your feet in a squat distance apart, when you go down, not much resistance. When you come back up, lots of resistance. So they're very good for resisting movements at body weight, but yet with the heavy resistance. They are also very good if you have the door anchor, to use them with some mobility and strength exercises, like banded pull downs, or there's some exercises in the Running Rewired book that I did a podcast episode on in episode number 22. So Running Rewired has some exercises using these big power bands, and they're very good. There's one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a foot drag or something, where you stand facing the door, power band around the back of the knee, and then you slide your foot back. So you're really using a lot of your hamstring muscle and glute muscle to pull the band in a controlled motion. So anyway, there's a ton of exercises. Additionally, a power band can be used as a pull-up assist. So if you have a pull-up bar, then you can use this. You can wrap it around and tie it to the pull-up bar, step in it, and it can help you get a little lift as you are building your upper body strength for pull-ups. So multi-use tool, and they're so small. They just kind of wrap up in a little loop, and they fit in a little storage bag in your cupboard. So there you go, power bands. All right, number five. Number 5 is a Mobo board. And again, if you listened to the last episode number 22, the Running Rewired second edition review of the workouts, I talked about the Mobo board in that episode, but it is a game changer. The Mobo board trains the foot, ankle, knee, the hip, the core. It is an all-in-one tool. It works on strengthening all those areas, but specifically the foot, using the proprioception, the natural proprioception of your foot. And it helps you know how to balance over your foot, because that is what we do when we run. And it is a single leg exercise. So there's only room for one of your feet on this board at a time. And you use the little fins. Okay, I've got that too here. All right, so here is a Mobo board. If you are on YouTube, this is a Mobo board. You can see that it has a little cutout for your 4 toes, and then your big toe goes right there. And it has these fins, as they're called, which go into different slots, and it causes your foot, when you stand on it, to go in different directions. And the way that it was created, it works with the natural full motion of your foot, depending on whether you're going inward or outward. So whichever way your foot is meant to move, the board is structured to go to that maximum range of motion. So it teaches your foot and your body how to stay over the foot under natural conditions, and strengthen the full kinetic chain from the foot all the way up to the hip. So absolutely, I think every runner home gym should have a Mobo board. All right, and it's runner specific, really. I mean, I suppose it's any sport, but absolutely runner specific, and single leg training, which is so important for runners. We have to do our single leg training because we're always on one foot. So we have to be able to have strength in that foot to carry us along thousands and thousands of steps along. Okay, so there's our Mobo board. Number 6, a foam roller, which I do not have in front of me, but I've got like 4 of them. You only need one, but you may find you collect them. So just fair warning there. You may start with one, but then you will find, oh, I want a different density. Oh, I want a different size. Oh, this one's smooth. I want a bumpy one. So they become addicting. Just sort of like heads up, fair warning. But having a foam roller is really important. Not only do you need it for recovery, it's also an exercise tool. So you can use it to add resistance and also improve balance by adding that resistance with certain exercises. So, for example, if you're doing a bridge, you can put it between your knees to give you extra resistance as you lift into a bridge. If you are doing a single leg bridge, this adds a balance component while you're squeezing your knees together on the foam roller. And so you have good feedback for the exercise movement. So you know if you are in the right position. And it also gives that extra resistance to the movement. Another exercise that you can do with a foam roller is a balance exercise on a plank. So put your elbows on the foam roller instead of the ground when doing a elbow plank, and tell me that your core is not working harder. Just try to tell me that. So foam roller is such a great tool, very versatile, and if for nothing else, recovery. But as I just said, you can get a lot of use out of it. All right, number 7. This one sounds basic, but I'm going to help you dress it up. An exercise mat. A mat is so important. I mean, it's imperative to have if you have an at-home exercise space, because you need to have a mat in that space. Whether you're on carpet or you're on hard floors, you're going to want a mat. And my recommendation for a mat is to make sure that, number one, it's cushioned enough, but not over cushioned. So the ones that I really like have a rubber core, and they are very firm, but they're soft. And if you double them up, they're very supportive for like your elbow if you're on a side plank or something like that. So, especially as we get older, our joints, I don't know, I guess we have less fat in those areas where our joints are, and they're just a little more sore. So you really want to double up the mat so that you have good cushioning for your joints. So your knees, your elbows, things like that, even the palms of your hand when you're in positions like a push-up position, you want to make sure that you have a soft but firm place to put those joints. So a rubber backing, number one, it's great because it's non-slip. And then number two, it has good firm cushioning. And the other thing to look for with one of these rubber mats is a microfiber soft top. So it'll be rubber on the bottom, so it's non-slip, but then on the surface where you're using it, microfiber is very good because it helps to absorb sweat and keeps you from slipping around on the mat. I've had lots of mats in my years of at-home exercising, and the one I have now has lasted me years, and it's a microfiber on the surface, and it's very good at sweat wicking. And I've had so many mats that were like just the little cheap, I don't know, they used to be $10. They're probably like 50 now, knowing today, but they're just, the little rubber, skinny, flat mats. Those are just, I use them every once in a while if I just need to like protect a surface from something. But other than that, I find them absolutely useless because you just slip all over the place. I mean, try doing yoga on one of those and you're just going to fall on your face in downward dog because your hands are just going to slip right out from underneath you. So the microfiber is very helpful for that. Keeps you from slipping around, especially on the really super duper sweaty workouts like plyo or yoga, Pilates, any of those. So exercise mat is number 7. All right, we're getting there to the bottom of the list. We are at number 8 on the list. So far, do you think you have room for all this? So far, the equipment's not all that big, and it might even be stuff that you already have in some cases. All right, number 8, large medicine ball. Now, this one may not fit in that cupboard, and it may not even fit in the closet. So this is the one piece of equipment that I'm talking about today that may actually have to sit out somewhere in your space. But I'll give you a tip on how you can use this. Okay, large medicine ball. These are like the big exercise balls. Oh, here, I've got one right here. Mhm. Okay. All right. There's my exercise ball. It's massive. So this, oh God, I think this one is an 80, I want to say this one's an 85 centimeter exercise ball. I you can get them in different sizes, but I like the bigger ones because I use that for lots of things. So for exercises, um, it's great for core work. Absolutely. I mean, try doing planks and side plank twists on a medicine ball. You are going to fall all over the place the first time you try it, but keep doing it because you will get stronger quickly once your body kind of figures out the motion and how to hold itself in those positions. You will find that your core will tighten up and strengthen so quickly. And you will probably find that you will start to have abs a lot faster than just doing crunches on the floor. The exercise ball for core work is phenomenal. Highly recommend. So, and also exercises for mobility and stability. So, if you're doing weights, if you try putting your foot up on an exercise ball, it kind of moves around. So, you've got to hold your core and your body still while you've got your foot up on this medicine ball and you're doing curls or overhead presses or shoulder presses. So, it really helps with training the core on even strength moves. Okay, so here's what you can do with your exercise ball while you're not using it. I use mine as a desk chair. So, again, you are going to be training your core all throughout the day if you are sitting on the medicine ball at your desk. So, if you have a desk job, try swapping out your chair for a large medicine ball. Now, again, that's why I have a really large 85 centimeter exercise ball, is because I needed to be tall enough to fit at a desk and still put me at the proper height to my desk so that I have proper ergonomics. So you want to make sure if you're going to use it for that purpose that you have a large enough ball that will allow you to do that. They have, if you like this, they have those stands where you can put the ball. I don't like those though, because it really defeats the purpose of the balance in the ball. So skip that, save your money, just use the ball, sit at your desk. It's great for helping you maintain posture because you have to sit in a more structured fashion. When you're sitting on an exercise ball at a desk, you can't really hunch over because it's just not comfortable on a ball. It just leaves you feeling like you're going to fall. So anyway, try that and see after a couple weeks how you feel. And what you might do is you can also trade off. So, like I have one at my desk, but I also have a chair. And so sometimes I'm sitting on the ball. And if I am tired or if I need to do, I don't know, maybe a lot of typing or something, I just need that stability, then I'll switch it out and I'll just sit in the chair for that time. And then I also have this great handy dandy sidebar. I also have this handy dandy tray that I keep my computer and my keyboard on, and it goes up and down on a hydraulic. So I can put it down and sit at my desk, or I can put it up like when I'm doing my podcasting right now. And it's a standing desk. And so I can go from sitting to standing. But I just have a little tray just for my computer. I don't have to have the whole desk raise up and down. It just sits on top of my desk, and then I can raise it up and down as I need to. So anyway, just kind of sidebar tip there. You don't need that for your home gym though. Okay, so that was number 8. We are going on to number 9. And I actually mentioned this one earlier. When I talked about the power bands, I said you can use a power band as a pull-up assist for a pull-up bar. Well, the ninth piece of equipment that I'm recommending for your home gym is a pull-up bar. Now, I know you're saying that, Coach Val, I don't have anywhere to install a pull-up bar. I'd have to drill into the walls. I have a rental. I have, nowhere to install a pull-up bar. You don't have to have somewhere to install a pull-up bar. The beauty of many of these pull-up bars is that they fit on most door frames. So you might have to do a little trial and error to find the pull-up bar that works with your door frame. And it is true, it's not going to work with every door frame. If you've got some really ornate door frames or the really, really tall trim on your door frame, it may not fit. I don't know. There's nothing I can do about that. But if you have a standard size door frame, these pull-up bars are fantastic. I've been using them for years, and it just kind of like hooks. I don't know how else to say it. It just kind of hooks on the door frame, and it uses physics to stay in place. So when you pull on the door frame, on the pull-up bar, then it puts pressure on the frame and it pushes against the pull-up bar and it stays in place. Voila. So pull-up bars are really important though. So I highly recommend you find a way to make a pull-up bar work, at least in one door frame of your house somewhere. Because if you can, it is going to help your strength and upper body and core strength so much. And as we age, especially women, our upper bodies, it's harder to build strength in our upper bodies. And women often naturally have a little less strength in their upper bodies than men do. So we need to train it more. And as we get older and we start to lose muscle mass and we start to lose strength, and especially grip strength, then that can have an impact on our overall longevity and health. So we really want to train grip strength for sure, which you can do simply by hanging on a pull-up bar. So if you've ever tried to just hang, so the next time you pass by a tree with a good solid branch, or if you pass by a jungle gym at a park, go over there and try to hang for 10 seconds, full body weight, and see how you do. Because it is actually a lot harder than you think. And I learned this the hard way when my son was little. Now, remember, my son is 23 years old now. So he was before elementary school, but we would go up to the elementary school to play on the gym equipment. So it's kind of like a double duty park and playground for the kids at the school. And so I would take him up there before he was even elementary school age. And he would play on all the gym equipment. And they had monkey bars. And when I was a kid, I was really good at the monkey bars, like really good. And like, not to brag or anything, but I was good. So I'd go across twice, all sorts of good. I could skip bars, So now, as an adult, I went to the monkey bars and he's playing on all the equipment. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the monkey bars. And I climb up the little ladder and I hang onto the monkey bar. And I nearly just like fell straight to the ground because I could hardly hold my body weight on this monkey bar. And it made me realize that I am not a kid anymore and I'm a lot heavier than a child. But you'd think, relative, right? That, oh, I'd have strength, when you're a kid, you're small, but you have small hands. Well, when you're an adult, you might weigh more than you were when you were a kid, but you still have the same, ratio of hands to body. So you'd think you'd be able to hang on to a monkey bar and go across. I couldn't do one because the weight of my body just simply pulled my hands, off the bar. Also, don't do monkey bars or pull-up bars with rings. It really hurts. So we didn't wear rings when we were kids doing monkey bars, and there was a reason for that. So if you try it, don't have your rings on when you do that. But My point, though, is that we have to train grip strength and we have to train upper body strength. We use upper body strength in so many ways. And as we age, we need that strength even more. And if we do not use it and train it now in our 40s and 50s, in our 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we will feel that. It'll be harder for us to pull ourselves up off the toilet. It'll be harder for us to pull ourselves up out of bed, out of a tub, to, grab a handrail and hang on if we are, falling or lose our balance when we get older. So we have to be able to have that grip strength and that upper body strength, and be able to pull ourselves up when needed. So we need to train those things. And so now working on a pull-up bar for upper body strength is so key for our longevity and health. And there are studies tied to grip strength and overall health. So the more you train that grip strength, then the healthier you are. There are studies that correlate that together. I have a client who wanted to do a rock wall, and I love this idea. And so, with that plan in mind, we were training grip strength as a key component of that. Because again, when you are climbing on a rock wall, even though you're all, belted in and in your harness and everything, you are using your weight in your hands to pull yourself up these rocks, and on the way back down you're still using your grip strength to hold yourself in place as you reach for your footing in order to go down the rock wall. That's if you're going to climb down. I suppose you could do like the leap off the wall thing, but I did a rock wall a couple times and I didn't leap off the wall. I just climbed down. But I'm kind of afraid of heights, so that could just be me. But still, having grip strength, upper body strength allows us to do more, allows us to be more active in our lives. And as a runner, it's very important, just in general, for running to have that upper body strength, which it comes with pull-ups. So with pull-ups, with hanging, you're training the scapula, the all of the upper body back muscles, your shoulders, everything, your biceps, even your triceps, depending on if you're doing a pull-up in a traditional hand grip or reverse hand grip or a chin-up. Chin-ups are going to train your biceps. So there's just a million reasons why pull-ups are so good for you. All right, so that is the pull-up. And now remember, you can use the power band to assist you as you are learning the pull-up and gaining strength in pull-ups. Okay, last one, number 10. And this is not big. And I just bought this myself. And so I am like really keyed into this new tool. It comes in a little carry bag that's maybe, I don't know, 10 inches tops. And so it fits in the cupboard. It's super small, and I use it on the pull-up bar. So this is the suspension trainer system. And a suspension trainer, one of the brand names for a suspension trainer is TRX. So you may have heard of TRX system. And what it is a set of straps that are adjustable in length. So you can make them shorter or longer. They have carabiners that attach to either a hook in order to secure them to a wall or something. You can also secure them to a strap on your pull-up bar, which is how I do it. So I connect them to my pull-up bar because I don't have a hook or anything that's bolted in safely in my house anywhere. So I just use the pull-up bar. You can also use a door frame connector that is kind of like the one that you use on the power band. So it goes into the door, you shut it, and it holds the band, or in this case, the TRX system in place. It's called a door anchor. And the way the TRX system works is that you can hook on different handles. So you can hook on handles for your hands, so you can do upper body exercises, or you can hook on little holders for your feet or your leg, and then you can do lower body exercises. So with the TRX system, I'm learning all the different exercises that you can do, but some of my favorites are some core strength exercises. And so, what is great about the suspension trainer system is that you're using your body weight, but you're using balance and stability along with the body weight, because you're suspending part of your body in air and you have to stabilize using your muscles. And so all the stabilizer muscles are really working. The first time I did a suspension trainer exercise or workout program, it was short. I think I did maybe half a dozen or maybe 8 or so exercises, 10 reps of each of them. Not a lot, right? That's not I think it maybe took me 15, 20 minutes to do the whole workout. And the next day I was so sore because I had been using these muscles that I use regularly. Like, one of the exercises was a push-up in a suspension trainer. I do push-ups all the time. I don't get sore from them typically. This time I was sore, and I know it was from those push-ups, because while I'm doing the push-ups, you're suspending in air on your hands. And as you are pushing up, you are having to stabilize your hands in one place so that they don't just like fly out to the side and you go splat on the ground on your face, which I almost did. the first rep. And as you're lowering down, you're having to use your muscles to, again, keep your hands in and your arms in a push-up width position, so that you, again, do not fall flat on your face in the push-up position. Um, Make sure that when you're doing that exercise that your knees are close enough to the ground that if you do start to fall, you can just drop your knees instead of your face on the ground. So just use caution when using these exercises. But it trains everything in these suspension trainer programs. And what I like about the suspension trainer is that you can progress the exercises. So it's all about range of motion. If you are doing, let's say that push-up, you don't have to go all the way down in a full push-up range of motion. You can simply bend your elbows ever so slightly so that you get the exercise as far as like just to the point of I can hold it here in this position without my arms flying out to the side. And then you just push back up. It could be just a matter of mere inches as you begin. And then as you get more comfortable with the motion, as you gain strength and mobility, then you can go further into the range of motion. Here's a good one for your core using the suspension trainer. Put your feet in the feet holders. I don't know what they're called, but they're little feet straps. So you just place your feet in them and get into a traditional plank position, full arm plank position. So your feet are elevated behind you and you are in a full plank position. Now pull your feet in toward your elbows. So you're bringing your knees toward your elbows in that plank position. So you're doing a tuck. It's a knee tuck. It's kind of like what you might do on one of those large stability balls, exercise balls. You can do a knee tuck on the big exercise ball also. So try doing that in a suspension trainer, and you will find that it is a different kind of hard. So, I mean, the stability ball is not easy. Do a number of those, do 20 reps of those. Whew, you're going to feel that one, and you're going to be shaken by the end of it probably. But now try that in a suspension trainer, and it's The best way I can describe it is it's a different kind of hard, but it is hard and you will absolutely feel it. Another one is like a side plank as well. So you can do side planks with the hip lift. There's lots of great exercises that you can do with the suspension trainer, but it's great for both upper body and lower body. Um, all right, so that was it. That was my 10 pieces of equipment. Do you think you have space for them? Um, I don't have a massive house myself, and I have space for them. And you might find that these are a great starter 10 pieces. You don't need anything more, but you may find that as you start to incorporate and use these pieces of equipment, if you're anything like me, you might find yourself collecting more because they're nice to have, or it's kind of a neat tool, or you think it might help with something that you're doing. That's just kind of how it goes. Over the years, I've collected lots of pieces of equipment, and I must say they all hold a special place in my heart. So I love all my exercise equipment. But let me know, how does it go? How did you do? Do you have these pieces of equipment? What's your favorite? I would love to know what's your favorite if you have one. But I know it's like picking a child. You can't pick your favorite child. So I get that. But the key here is to take this equipment and train in a progressive but safe manner. So always safety, safety, safety first. You don't have people around you at the gym to save you if you drop a dumbbell on your foot. So make sure that you're training in a safe manner. You can lift the weight, you can control the weight at all times. And that you're not dropping things and hurting yourself. And make sure you hang on to that kettlebell during the swings. Don't let that go. That's going to do damage. So be careful. But anyway, these tools can really support you as a runner. And if you don't know how to put it all together and you need help, that's what I love to do. So I not only help train runners in training plans, like running training plans and race plans, but I also build strength plans for lots of different reasons, depending on the individual's purpose for strength training and their goals. Like I mentioned, my client who wanted to do the rock wall. So we put together a training plan to help build that upper body strength so that she could climb that rock wall. So whatever your goal is, we can work together and put together a strength plan to help you achieve that, and at least to work toward that goal. So if that's interesting to you, there's always a link in the show notes or on my Instagram bio page that you could just set up a call for when it's convenient for you, for just a quick 20-minute call. Tell me what it is you want to do. Let me know where you are starting from, what foundation you've got, and we'll talk about what kind of plan might work for you and the length and such that you might need. So happy to do that 20-minute discovery call, free, of course, just to see how we might work together to help you achieve your goal. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. You got something out of it. Let me know. Jump over to Instagram, share with me. I'd love to hear how you're using the equipment. And if you build out your own home gym space using any of these things and how they work for you. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out, let me know. Happy to help, give a little piece of advice. All right, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me here on Running on Carbs podcast. And don't forget, run your best life on carbs. I will see you next time. I am Coach Val. Have a fantastic day.